In a world torn apart by pride and power, two young hearts dared to fall in love. Their names have echoed through centuries, Romeo and Juliet. But behind this beautiful, heartbreaking tragedy lies so much more than just a forbidden romance. It's a powerful story about destiny, rebellion, and the devastating cost of peace. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of the world's most famous love story to uncover the deeper meaning, the hidden history, and the heartbreak that forever changed the course of literature. To truly understand Romeo and Juliet, we have to travel back in time to Verona, Italy. Imagine a city simmering with tension, divided by the bitter hatred of two powerful families, the Montagues and the Capulets. Their feud was so ingrained in the city's culture that even their servants would clash in the streets. It was into this chaotic world that a young man named Romeo Montague and a girl named Juliet Capulet were born. By a stroke of fate, they would meet, and in doing so, defy everything their world stood for. It happened at a masquerade ball. Under the soft, flickering glow of candlelight, their eyes met across a crowded room. In that single moment, something electric sparked between them. It was love at first sight, pure, instantaneous, and utterly dangerous. They didn't know each other's names, only that they had found a connection that felt like destiny. But this beautiful beginning was already overshadowed by the promise of disaster. Knowing their families would never, ever approve of their love, Romeo and Juliet sought help from Friar Lawrence, a wise and well-respected priest. He saw their love not as a problem, but as a potential solution, a holy union that could finally mend the rift between the Montagues and the Capulets. So, in a quiet, sunlit chapel, with only silence and hope as their witnesses, the two lovers secretly became husband and wife. For one brief, shining moment, it seemed that love had conquered hate. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. The peace was shattered almost as soon as it began. Tragedy struck when Romeo's quick-witted friend, Mercutio, was killed in a street brawl by Tybalt, Juliet's hot-headed cousin. Consumed by a blinding rage and grief, Romeo avenged his friend's death, killing Tybalt in return. The consequence was swift and severe. Romeo was banished from Verona, exiled from his home, his family, and his new wife. The lovers were torn apart, and their fragile dreams of a life together were completely shattered. Desperate and alone, Juliet turned once again to Friar Lawrence for a way out. He concocted a daring, almost unbelievable plan. She would drink a special potion that would make her appear dead for exactly 42 hours. Her family, believing she was gone, would lay her in the Capulet tomb. The friar would send a message to Romeo, explaining everything, and he would return to be there when she awoke, ready to escape with her to a new life. With trembling hands, Juliet drank the vial, placing all her trust in this desperate gamble. But in the world of Romeo and Juliet, communication is as much a villain as hatred. The crucial message explaining the plan never reached Romeo. Instead, the only news that found him was the devastating, false report of Juliet's death. Overwhelmed by a grief so profound it blotted out all reason, Romeo bought a fast-acting poison and raced back to Verona, determined to see his love one last time. In the chilling silence of the Capulet tomb, Romeo found what he believed to be Juliet's lifeless body. Believing she was gone forever, he knelt beside her, whispered his final words of love, and with a kiss, drank the poison. Thus with a kiss, I die. Just moments after he fell, Juliet began to stir. She awoke from her deep sleep to the worst possible nightmare, her beloved Romeo, lying dead beside her. The hope of their future was gone. Unable to imagine a life without him, she saw his dagger, and without a second thought, ended her own life. Two young lovers, who should have had their whole lives ahead of them, became victims of generations of hatred and a tragic series of miscommunications. They were finally united, but only in death. Their ultimate sacrifice did, in the end, stop the feud. The Montagues and Capulets, standing over the bodies of their children, finally saw the pointless destruction their rivalry had caused. But it was a peace bought at a price so devastating, it could never be justified. Written by the legendary William Shakespeare around 1595, Romeo and Juliet was so much more than just a play. It was a brilliant reflection of human nature itself, our deepest passions, our blinding pride, and our most tragic mistakes. While it wasn't the very first story of a love tragedy, it quickly became the greatest, because it showed us that even in death, Love possesses the power to change the world. From the grand stages of the Globe Theatre to countless film adaptations, from classical ballets to modern pop culture references, the story of Romeo and Juliet continues to live on. It serves as a timeless, powerful reminder that love, though often fragile, is the most powerful force of all. Their story ends in tragedy, but their love became eternal. Because sometimes, the greatest stories aren't about winning or losing. They're about the incredible courage it takes to love against all odds. Thank you so much for watching. If you were moved by this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest tales ever told. See you next time.